look at this new embarrassment, new calamity, so to speak, the purchase of the presidential yacht by the Navy. I don't understand. The money has not been approved. Before the money was approved, I understand it has been purchased and been delivered. Does that process make sense? One, is it possible for a purchase to be delivered without money being budgeted for, or we're not told the exact truth? Secondly, what is the use or usefulness of a yacht in the fleet of the Navy? What does it serve? Is it a warship? Is it a pleasure, a pleasure trip or pleasure ship? What exactly is this yacht about?
Um, you asked too many questions, but let me take it from the relevance of a judge. If you go to Royal Navy, they have. If you go to Russian Navy, they have. Let me just use those two examples. Usually, Navy plays two roles: defense and ceremonial. There's what we call flag showing, and a lot of people may not know that if you want to do what they call the fleet review is like you want to do guards inspection in the army, you know,
Parade.
parade,
Okay.
So the president will march and inspect the parade, they will do the ceremony. The Air Force
Okay,
they
so
do the
this is done on
same.
the fleet.
So the Air Force also they
Mm,
have their fleet review. They will fly past. You do Independence Parade,
mm-hmm,
see the aircraft flying past and
mm-hmm,
different colors and so on.
yeah.
Navy also has
Mm-hmm.
similar program. We call it fleet review. They call it presidential fleet review. Unfortunately, the ships are huge and they are always inside the other lagoon or at sea, and the president has no other way to inspect those warships than to be inside his presidential yacht and uh, basically sail past those warships because they can line up to maybe like 2-3 nautical miles because the standard distance between
Mm,
and when they're at sea, if you put a frigate somewhere,
mm,
there should be a distance, maybe sometimes 500 meters before the next one, another 500 meters. So by the time you want to see all those ships, you need to be in a yacht where handled by the
okay.
experts, the navy, and you will just sail through and you'll be checking those ships one by one because they are dressed overall in ceremonial, and there are men that has
Okay.
manned ship. So we call them. Uh, they share as the president sail past. Hey, Pepe, hooray!
Okay.
Salute to the
Okay.
president, commander in chief. So as he's sailing past, they are using megaphone and they are sharing him.
Okay.
So
As a sea
I
parade.
listened to a
Mm,
lot of talks, on this issue of yacht, and I was really taken aback. As a professional, when I joined the military in 1982, we have a presidential yacht, and you can check this out. The name of the presidential yacht there is Igina Bereton. It's a John name, and
okay.
it was used by Shagari extensively for ceremonials. Maybe Prince Charles visit Nigeria, they will take him on board those yachts. They will take him to sea. They will show him our coastline. They will sometimes even do a fleet review with him. So there's nothing wrong in having a
Mm,
presidential yacht because it's not for him. If he leaves, when Shagari left, another person came. We were using this Iginaberaton until it got to a state of disrepair. And the Nigerian Navy
mm,
now felt that, okay, let us convert this presidential yacht to a training ship. And that is what we did.
mm,
We repainted the presidential yacht and renamed that yacht Nigerian Navy ship Ruwanyaro. And I was trained
mm,
on board Ruwanyaro as a seagoing cadet. So what are we talking about? I will
mm.
mention a name. The former governor of Ogun State, Olofimoyin, was the commanding officer of Ruwanyaro in 1984-85.
Mm,
And I trained on board that ship. It was a presidential yacht converted to a training ship because it was no longer, it does not fit again that role. It was old, it was a bit dilapidated, and the president cannot use it again. So we converted it to a traineeship, and we use it for decades to train. Now, let me come to the other side. The challenge in Nigeria is just that this, for me, I just wonder whether we are also human beings. You see, what people do is that they will go to Italy, or maybe some of this yacht that was seized during Russian-Ukrainian war by the West, and they are selling them. One rich Nigerian will go. I'm just speculating, right? You know, they will just go and buy it. Okay. Then they will impose it on Nigeria through the party politics and say they should budget for it. The ship is already waiting somewhere. It has been bought. Then they will say they should budget for it. Then they will now bring it in, a used yacht somewhere. That is why that is where the problem is. And you can never pay 5 billion for a yacht. It's not possible. It has been inflated. It's been corrupted. That's why I wonder whether we are human beings. And this will go on and on. And you will see, eventually you will see that ship, because somebody has already paid for it. So they start bribing each other, continue to bribe the Senate, bribe this one. Maybe the yacht is about $1 billion. They will say it's 5 billion. Then the 4 billion on top will be shared. That is where the problem is. It's not good to be blaming that what do they want to do with presidential yacht. Is necessary for ceremonials, for flag showing. Navy needs it. I remember we even requested for another one when we converted the Guinea Beraton to a training ship. We requested for another presidential yacht for presidential fleet review. Are you going to dump the president in one tiny boat, supposing something happened and he fall overboard?